Phil and Will are back with our episode 6 predictions this time. But before we get into that, Willie just informed me of something pretty big that I think we need to draw a lot of attention to right now. Supposedly,
Well, I don't know about a lot of attention. We're going
well,
to mention it.
we're going to start our episode with it. That's a lot of attention.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just saw this on Reddit. I guess Redmond tweeted it. Is season 32 cast will be voted upon by the fans. We don't know if it's the whole cast. It's most likely part of the cast. I bet CBS will have some say, and there's some people they definitely will bring back. But anyway, it's interesting. I don't know if I trust the Survivor general fan base. I know I like the Survivor Reddit community. There's a lot of good online communities, but those are the super fans. If this thing gets blown up to just I don't want to use this word, but casuals, who are we gonna get Boston Raw back for a fifth time? Who's gonna be nominated? We don't know how this is all gonna work, but it is big news nonetheless.
Okay, well, I'm going to point my finger here. I don't know if you're going to actually put something here, but if you go back and look at we broke down that 30th anniversary edition magazine in a podcast. We broke it down, and there were some weird people and episodes and seasons and everything, the challenges, everything was just the moments thing. I mean, we go on a rant about that for a while.
Yeah, I mean, that was interesting stuff.
If those are the same people voting, I don't know if I trust that.
Yeah, I don't know. The Survivor magazine did have a lot of questionable picks in their top 10s. That's what we went over in this video or this video. I'm not sure where it will be, but we will put a link to that. Yeah, hopefully it won't be the same people, and hopefully they kind of limit maybe 3 per season. It would be lame if we just got half of Cagayan back, half of season 30 back. If they maybe divided it up into eras, had some nomination system, we just don't know what the format of the voting will be, whether there even needs to be nominations. I assume there will be. I assume Survivor has to contact these people and be like, look, do you want to play again? And then once they confirm that they will play, then there's a big pool of nominees that will get voted upon. Obviously, it'll have to be equal female, equal male, I'm sure. But either way, it's cool. First of all, I'm excited that we're just getting a returnee season. We're pretty sure season 32 is going to be returnees anyway. The season 31 cast flew out, I think, a couple days ago over the weekend to Cambodia for season 31. That will be all newbies. But yeah, 32.
Now, are you happy that it's a returnee cast? Because I've never been huge on the whole returnee season, but if it's a full returnee cast, is that why you're kind of happy?
Yeah. We've
only had 2 of those. We've only had 2 full returnee seasons. That's really not that much.
Yeah, exactly. 2 out of 30 seasons. It's 1 every 15 seasons you get one. I guess we'll have 3 out of 32.
And there's a lot to pull from here even if it is recency bias, we're assuming there will be some, but season 30 has been great so far. Cagayan, there's a lot to pull from. San Juan del Sur, there are a couple people to pull from there, as much as we didn't like that season. There are some people who I could see coming back.
Who do you want to see, though, actually? I would honestly say I don't want to see one player come back. See, Josh was so, whatever. He was so normal. Sure, he was, a sound player, I guess. He gave good confessionals, I guess.
I would like to see Josh on a season where he's not where it's not a loved one seasons. If it's all returnees, they're all going to have targets and stuff, and I'd like to see Josh be able to play with people. Really, Josh and Jeremy, I'd like to be able to see play with people who know the game better than what they got.
I was going to say Jeremy. Jeremy would be the only, because he was kind of fun, too. He had a little bit of, something to him. It wasn't
bitter.
What's that?
He was bitter.
But he was bitter in a fun way. He's like, why are you guys so happy? We just gave up reward, or whatever. He was fun to watch. I enjoyed watching Jeremy. He'd probably be the only one I want to see.
My biggest fear with this whole situation is that it turns into a lot of the screen hogs that the fans like us weren't huge on. I don't want to see John Mish again.
Oh no. He won't be.
And
back.
I'm worried that if he gets nominated, people are going to remember him like it's nothing. They'll be like, oh yeah, I like John. I couldn't stand John. I'm sorry, John. I couldn't take you on the show. And that's what I'm scared of, is that we're going to get a lot of people because this really does narrow it down. I mean, granted, if it's an all-star season, it's going to be people who were on a lot of the show anyway, like huge screen time people. But I'm scared that now we're going to get like a lot of sympathy people, like John or Jacqueline. Like I don't really want to see that.
Jacqueline will not be back on Survivor. I don't think John will be either. I think Cagayan would be the only thing to be like you could see Tony coming back for sure. Spencer, Cass, Tasha, LJ. Those are all like really high on the probably the total.
Tasha? Did you say Tasha?
Yeah, I said Tasha.
Okay.
It's like 5 people. Trish even throw her in there. I think Cagayan it would be worrisome of being too overrepresented.
Sarah even because if they need an extra woman, Sarah's a character. She was something. I don't know if she'd play again, but she was something.
Definitely. Okay, well, enough about season 32. We still have season 30 to deal with, and we have season 30, episode 6 that we will now predict, or we will try to predict. Do you want to start off, Phil, with your power rankings?
Last week was a lot of fun. I'm glad we got I'm not huge on tribe swaps every time. This one, I don't like the way the tribes swapped out, but I do like that. This really showed that, they were players at the beginning, and they're still playing pretty hard. Like, the fact that they got rid of Max over Shireen, I don't know what the reasoning is, but I'm thinking it was more of a post-merge threat thing, and they're kind of thinking pretty far ahead. So all these people are playing. I'm really, I'm digging that. I think that this is highly uneven, but I'm still going to I'll just go down. My top 2 are Haley and Jen, because I think they put themselves in the power position on whatever the Red Tribe now. I think they put themselves in that power position, and by getting rid of Max, I don't see either of them going. So I got Haley at 1, Jen at 2. I think really the two of them are the power players right now on this season.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I have Haley at 1, Jen at 2. We didn't see that other tribe go to tribal council, so it's like we just don't know where any of them are standing. So if they do somehow go, I know they're so strong. I have no idea where anyone stands on that tribe, especially with Sierra in the middle, and we just don't know. So yeah, I have Haley 1, Jen 2, and then we're in agreement.
My biggest question is Sierra really in the middle over there? Like, is she actually the one who's the swing vote? Because I don't even know if that's the truth. Currently,
she is. There was a bonus confessional with her. She says, I hate the people on my blue-collar tribe. I think they're terrible people. I don't like them, all this stuff. And then she says, and there's these 3 new guys, Tyler, Joe, and Joaquin, who seem really nice, really cool. I really like them. Who should I go with? She said it was like a really tough decision for her who she would side with, because as much as she hates her blue-collar tribe, she knows she can beat them in the end. And it was a cool confessional. So,
that's a bonus confessional, though. That wasn't on the show, and that's why I'm thinking.
I'm just telling you how she's feeling as of now, like what we've seen up to. That was from last episode that didn't make it. That's how she was thinking. In the previews, it looks like Sierra goes to Mike, and they decide to not trust Rodney. That's what it seems like.
But my thing is, I know that Sierra thinks she's the swing vote, but what if Joaquin or Rodney turn into the swing vote and they just shift the whole game anyway? Because I feel like if Joaquin and Rodney get tight like they're playing up, whichever side they go with, it doesn't matter what Sierra does, because they could get rid of Sierra, or they could get rid of Mike, or, I think that the two of them might play a bigger role than maybe Sierra.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I'm just saying as of now, Sierra is she's undecided, even though it kind of looked like she was done with her old tribe. She was actually strongly considering saying, I could beat them because they're just not good people. That's was her thing. But I totally agree with you. Rodney and Joaquin, have you seen the preview for this episode with the whole romance thing?
I didn't see the full thing. I saw that part, but I didn't see what happened before that part.
It's funny. I mean, it's a lot of laughs from them. It's just like from the moment I saw you, and just all this like.
Oh, like really? I got you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's. I forget who do I have at 3. Let me check here. I have Tyler at 3, and if that tribe somehow loses, which I don't think they will, but if they lose, I see Tyler being able to somehow get the majority. And if he's not in the majority, I think him and Joaquin have this like pretty good relationship. So he'll kind of know what's in the loop. If we think that Rodney and Joaquin are kind of going to hook up, we'd like to think, Joaquin and Tyler they form maybe a trio. Because as we know, Joaquin has said, Tyler, he's my boy. They've, he shared the idol clue with him. They seem to be, pretty tight with each other.
Yeah, I like Tyler. I've been higher on Tyler most of the time than you. This week I'm a little bit lower, but I agree with you. I just don't know enough about that tribe's dynamics right now. And yeah, I get that Sierra might be the swing vote, but the whole Joaquin and Rodney thing kind of throws me off a bit, and I don't want to put.
See, even if Joaquin and Rodney don't go with Tyler's side, that would leave Tyler and Joe on the outs, and I think they would target Joe first before they would target Tyler. That's why I have Tyler so high. I just don't think, even if Tyler doesn't fall on the right side of the numbers, he's not going to be the one targeted.
Well, that's where we disagree, but I mean, I have Joe at 4.
Why would Joaquin want to take out Tyler, who's been like a trusted ally so far?
I agree with you. Honestly, I think that it's going to come down to if Joaquin and Rodney end up teaming up, it's going to be they're either going to get rid of Sierra or Dan, but I'll get into that later. I don't think that they'd get rid of Joe. I don't think they're looking at Joe.
I think they're going to get rid of Joe. I just think that Joe is in more danger than Tyler because Tyler has that bond with Joaquin already. They have a good working relationship. And so if it ends up being like this is in Rodney and Joaquin's hands, they get to decide. And let's say they side with Mike, Dan, and Sierra just because of numbers. I don't know why that would make sense, but let's say Rodney and Mike. I mean, we saw Rodney and Mike last week have a pretty good, working relationship. So.
Yeah, I think that really the whole Rodney-Mike feud was just to create drama at the beginning. They wanted to kind of keep you in the dark a little bit on where alliances stood. So yeah, I don't really feel for Mike that much either. But at my number 3, I got Will, and that's the highest I've ever had Will, and I can't believe I have Will that high. But I just don't see him going home. He's on that
tribe. He's on that tribe that is like almost sure to go to tribal.
And I still have him that high because I just don't see any way that he goes home. I don't know how he would go. I mean, it's got to be Shireen if they go. And if Shireen somehow can turn the tables, she's going to turn the tables on Carolyn. She's not going to turn the tables on Will. No reason to turn the tables on Will. She could just say Will is a vote. So I don't see Will going home. I got Will at number 3, even though I think his tribe is definitely going to tribal.
Yeah, it's tough with Will. I couldn't put him at 3 just because there's something about just like girls living on a beach together with one guy, and unless you're Chris, I hate saying his last name. Doherty. I can't say it.
Just call him
Daughtry, Chris Daughtry. Unless you're him, girls just like team up and they just.
I didn't even think about that. I forgot Will.
Will's the only dude on that tribe, and it's not like he's physically fit at all. So if they lose a challenge, they can easily say, "Look, guys, like we lost because of Will." And if Will does anything suspicious, Jen and Haley can be like, "I don't trust Will anymore." I mean, I don't have Will like at the bottom, but nowhere near 3.
Well, that's why I'm winning 70-62. There's your update, guys. There's your power rankings update. Phil's up 8.
You're up 8?
I'm up 8.
The Max thing really did me in, and I still don't quite. I mean, I guess the Max he was screwed up so badly last week. That was terrible. I mean, that was just.
It should have been Shireen. I don't understand how Shireen's still on the island, but that's why I kind of have Will so high. I didn't even realize that he was the only guy on that tribe. I just completely missed that. Like, now it's obvious, but at the same time, like, there's so many guys left in the game, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. So, but Sierra's the only girl on the other tribe, and, so.
She is, indeed.
She is. That's cool. I think Will's fine. I like Will. So, Will, don't do me wrong here, okay? Just hang around.
Okay. I have Joe at number 4.
Hey, so do I.
So, Joe, it's kind of the same with Tyler. They're either going. It's hard to explain. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but if we think Rodney and Joaquin are in the middle, I would see them preferring to go with Joe and Tyler because then they're 2 out of 4 instead of being 2 out of 5. They went with Sierra, Mike, and Dan. And Rodney and Sierra obviously don't really like each other that much, so I think Joe and Tyler find themselves in a pretty safe position. The only thing that worries me is that this tribe is so strong that if they somehow lose, they won't care about losing someone strong. They won't be like, oh, if we vote Joe out, we'll lose strength. No, it's like everyone on that tribe is like pretty fit, except for Dan, but at least he's like a big dude. He can swim. We saw it. So they won't be worried about challenges as much. That's my only thing with these two, but I think they're both savvy enough, nice enough, smart enough guys to find their way in the majority on that tribe.
Yeah, and like I said, I have Joe at 4 as well, and I think really it's just hard to rank them right now because it's so close after the swap, and we really don't know where that tribe stands at all because it happened and we didn't get much time with them. And even the other tribe, it's still hard because, yeah, they were playing up Shireen being annoying, but they had to give you somebody to oppose Max to possibly be the other boot. So if Max didn't go, we would have thought it was Shireen. They wanted to give you that suspense. Shireen, I know everybody's saying is annoying, and like it's been obvious, but maybe Shireen wasn't as close to going. Maybe she wasn't as close to going.
It was a horse race, remember?
It was a horse race.
We had so many professionals about like Max or Shireen, who's more annoying. Like that's it. Like I don't think it was like an editing trick to be like, all right, Max is slam dunk going home. Let's throw Shireen in the mix to throw off viewers. I think it was definitely like, damn, these people annoy us to death. We need to send one of them home.
Well, maybe Max did something to be like Secretariat and just pull himself away from Shireen. Maybe he just did something. Maybe it was a horse race and he just pulled away so bad at the end. It might not have been as close. I'm not saying that it wasn't, but I could see a way where it wasn't that close, and this week Shireen somehow rebounds. That's the only reason. Like, that's why I'm saying it's just hard to really pick up on all the dynamics.
I'm not like saying Shireen is for sure going home. I actually think it would be it wouldn't surprise me if she went home, but it would definitely, for how good the season's been and how much people have talked about how great it is and stuff, and we've talked about this a lot, predictable boots, I think, are going to be very few and far between here this season, and she would be a very predictable boot.
Yeah, and I mean, Max's exit interview, he played this season up a lot. Like, he was, I mean, granted, he is Max, but he was really talking highly about how it's just going to get even better. And
how does he know?
What do you mean, how does he know? Because he talks to all of them. He knows what happens.
I guess, yeah, but he's gonna leave he's gonna go on like the pre-merge boot vacation, before the jurors get to Ponderosa.
But this cast is very close, man.
Yeah, I guess they just tell each other everything. But so yeah, that's what I'm trying not to read all that stuff. I don't want something ruined for me. I'm really wary this season. I feel like there's a lot of stuff flying around.
But you know what it is? It's all like riddles. Like, they're not coming out and spoiling anything. I feel like everything's a riddle.
Yeah, but I love riddles like so much, and I would just overanalyze everything. I'd probably solve the riddle, you know? I don't want to solve the riddle.
Don't give yourself too much credit, man. Come
on.
No,
I'll solve the riddle.
I won't try. I just like bringing it up to frustrate you.
Okay, go. Who's
now
your
I'm
pick?
gonna bring it up even more.
Who's number 5?
I have Mike.
Oh man, I have Mike too.
Well, there you go. I mean, you know what? I think it's hard to really differentiate right now because, like I said, we don't know the dynamics that well. And how is Mike going to go home? They're going to get rid of Dan before they get rid of Mike. That's the way I look at it. If they side with the other side, Mike stays and Dan goes home.
Yeah, I don't think Mike is in that much danger here. Or
like Rodney goes.
Or Sierra goes. Yeah.
Yeah, Mike's not going.
Yeah, I agree. I guess I'll just do my number 5 right now as well, just like Mike. We just said, I don't think he's going to go home. The only way he could go home is, I mean, Rodney and Joaquin side with Joe and Tyler, and they want to target Mike because he's a threat and they have enough strength already. That would be one way he could go home. Other than that, I don't see many possibilities.
Yeah, I feel like Rodney likes Mike the most out of the 3, though, with Mike, Dan, and Sierra. So I feel like he'd get rid of Dan or Sierra first because I feel like Rodney wants to keep the people he likes and get rid of the people he doesn't like.
Yeah,
like that's
I hear you too. I hear that as well. There's also an idol over on that tribe. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but the two found idols are with Jen and Carolyn on the red tribe. So.
Oh, true. Wait, do you know that there's a idol over there? How do you know that?
Because no one's found the blue collar idol yet.
True. Very true. Very true. Okay, yeah, yeah. So that's true. Unless they re-hit it somewhere, but I doubt. I don't know. They
No,
sometimes do that
they'll
after
keep that
shakeups.
there, especially because there's two in play. It's not like Cagayan where Garrett got one voted out, like
Yeah.
with one in his pocket. They're both two in players' hands right now. Third one's hidden at the blue collar beach or camp. I don't think they're gonna. They'll probably introduce a fourth one at the merge, unless all three of these are in play, because they love idols. But yeah, who do you got for 6?
Tyler.
Okay.
And I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what else to say about Tyler. I like Tyler. I feel like Tyler's pretty safe. This week, as opposed to last week I was only confident in my top like 2 or 3. This week I'm pretty confident in a lot of these early ones, and I don't see Tyler really going anywhere. There's just too
The
much.
thing about it this week is that we have this dominant tribe. That
Yeah, I don't see how they lose.
yeah, I don't see how they lose. They're just too, like, every strong player is on that team, pretty much.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I have Dan at 6, and that's really high for Dan. But I just don't see that tribe going to tribal council. So I have him, I have him that high.
Damn, that's high.
And with Dan, I think, because what I think is going to happen on this tribe is I think Rodney and Joaquin split off to be like the swing votes, and then I think Joe and Tyler hook up with Dan and Mike, and then take out Rod. I haven't said this is kind of what I'm basing my power rankings off. I think Rodney and Joaquin fall to the bottom of that tribe by isolating themselves. So I think Dan will find himself in a pretty safe spot, even if they do go to tribal, which I still don't think they will.
I think that would be really funny if Joaquin and Rodney end up thinking that they're the swing votes, and Sierra thinks she's the swing vote, and it ends up that the 3 of them are on the bottom because Tyler, Joe, Mike, and Dan just take over the game. That would be really, really
Exactly.
funny.
That's what I think that will happen.
Big
I don't know
theory, though.
Sierra. I think Sierra currently thinks she's a swing vote because they haven't lived together that long yet. I think eventually Sierra will figure out that, well, I think it's just going to be Joaquin and Rodney falling to the bottom, getting cocky like they do. And
Yeah.
I like both those players. They're fun to watch, but I think this is a week that maybe one of them goes if they do go to tribal.
No, I hear you 100%. I hope that we get to keep them for a little bit longer. Honestly, I don't dislike anybody on this cast. I just think Rodney and Joaquin could be really, really funny.
I dislike Shireen. I would love, even if it would be a predictable boot, get rid of Shireen, get her off the show.
So you feel like Shireen with the Nina one, where we are both just like, get Nina off the show. I don't care if it's predictable, just get her.
I like Nina more than Shireen.
Well, Nina's a good person. Shireen's like an annoying. Shireen seems annoying, and I'm not saying Shireen's a bad person. I'm just saying she seems very, very annoying. Whereas Nina was
There's some people that are like annoying to live with that you can tell. Wow, it sucked to be on the island with that person, but I love watching them play. I love seeing them on TV.
Russell.
That's the guy like Coach. Yeah, or Russell. I was thinking Coach. Like he would be so irritating to live with, but seeing his delusions and just like how out of place it was great to watch in Tocantins especially. But then there's people that are annoying to live around and annoying to watch, and that's Shireen. I cringe when she says anything. I just dislike her to no end.
And I'm trying to think, who have we had that was kind of like that? Like that
I
we
really
like that.
dislike Abby Maria. I know a lot of people do like her.
Yeah, I didn't mind Abby Maria.
Yeah, she rubbed me the wrong way.
See, I don't feel like that Abby Maria was so much as annoying as she was just the villain.
No, see, I don't think she was just totally annoying, and that made her the villain. But she just got on my nerves so much, and she would just raise her voice and yell and argue at just the littlest things. She would never have like a normal conversation. She didn't think things through. Like she was the biggest goat. She was the biggest goat of all time. I can't believe she didn't make it to the end, honestly.
You know who? It's kind of like Missy, but I don't know if people really got it so much. Like I couldn't stand Missy, and I feel like on the show, a lot of people were getting annoyed with the whole Missy Baylor thing, and I think that was more of like a duo than so much as just one player. One player I think of is PG, my girl PG from China. During that time that show was airing, nobody could stand PG, and the people on the island just complained about PG. I like PG. I know you really don't care for her, but she was annoying.
I don't like PG either. I mean,
yeah.
Her whole leader thing when she like nominated herself as leader and then went like yes at tribal when it wasn't even decided that she was leader, like all that, like don't become leader first of all. and then don't act like you are the leader when you aren't, and then don't get excited for doing nothing. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of PG. I thought throwing the challenge to get rid of Aaron was, pretty smart, but let's stick back at season 30. Lots of tangents here.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's because we keep talking about how annoying Shireen is. We haven't even gotten to where Shireen is in our power rankings yet, and we can't help but talk about how annoying she is. All right, so what am I on? Number 7, right? Because I did Tyler, so I'm on 7. I have Kelly at 7, and I'm a little iffy on Kelly, but I don't know. I think that there's if Shireen were to turn the tables, I think Shireen turns the tables on Carolyn instead of Kelly.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out that smile. I just think
we have a couple comments that I was going to read. Well, I'll read them when we go through the predictions. I have a couple comments on this video, but I'll save those. That's what I was looking at.
Oh, okay. Now I'm curious. But yeah, I think that if Shireen were to turn the tables, she would turn it on Carolyn because Carolyn kind of just betrayed her, whereas Kelly hasn't really had the opportunity to betray her. I could see Kelly going if Shireen's like, well, Blue Collar still has so many people left. Let's get rid of her.
That would be my thing with Kelly.
Yeah. But I don't know. I like where Kelly's at.
Kelly seems very likable and just good to have around. She seems like she fits well with the no-callers. Doesn't mean I have her that high, but I think she does bode, has a better chance than, like you said, than Carolyn.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's why I have Kelly sitting there at number 7, like right in the middle of the pack. She could go. I just think the people below her have a better chance to go. So that's what it really always comes down to with these power rankings. Funny how that works.
Okay. After Dan, I have Joaquin. And this is mainly because I don't think this tribe is going, and I wanted to save my bottom spots for the red tribe. But Joaquin, if Joaquin and Rodney form this like duo, I think Rodney becomes targeted over Joaquin. I think Sierra really doesn't like Rodney. Rodney's had run-ins with Dan. Rodney's had run-ins with Mike. Tyler has Joaquin's back a little bit, so I fear that Rodney, if this duo does go down, that Joaquin won't be the one to take the hit. It'll be Rodney. That's why I have Joaquin at 7th. And then, like I said, this tribe is just stacked, and I wanted to use my 7th spot and these higher spots on this blue tribe that just is has a very low chance of going to tribal.
Yeah, my next 3 are all blue tribe people because I don't think that Kelly's my only one that I'm iffy on. I think Kelly could go home, but I'm also worried. There's a reason why I could see any of Joaquin, Dan, Sierra, or Rodney going home. So that's why I have them lower. I think they have a stronger case to go home than Kelly. I do see the reasoning though there. Rodney, it's the same thing with Lindsay. When we thought Lindsay and Rodney were together, Lindsay was more abrasive than Rodney, and even when Rodney was annoying, Lindsay was also weaker, and that kind of hurts you. When it comes to Rodney and Joaquin, since they're both on the same level of strength, who annoys you more? And I feel like Rodney doesn't have that many friends left in this game.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, you want to just run through your next 3 then?
Yeah, I'll go through my next 3. 8, I have Dan. 9, I have Joaquin. And then 10, I have Sierra. And we've kind of talked about Dan and Joaquin. We just talked about Joaquin. Dan, I could see him going, but I think that Sierra is the one that she thinks she's the swing vote, and we've seen it happen right back in Cagayan with Sarah. Sometimes when you think you're the swing vote, you're not paying attention to the other people who are making moves behind the scenes. I mean, Shireen and Max.
You get caught in being persuaded by one side. You're waiting for people to come to you, and people just get fed up with it. It's like they're courting you. Yeah. And I saw that happen with Sarah. And if Sierra thinks she has too much power here, and this episode is also titled "Odd Woman Out," so I don't know if it's talking about Shireen or Sierra.
And it could be either because I could see Sierra being the odd woman out for obvious reasons. She's the only girl. But I could see Shireen being the odd woman out because she's surrounded by women and she's the one that doesn't fit in right now. And she's trying to find her way in.
Right, exactly. It could be, it could be both of them. It could just be a great title, and it applies to both Sierra and Shireen.
And it was set by Dan. Wouldn't that just be something? I don't know why I want Dan to say it, but I just feel like Dan saying that somebody's the odd woman out would be hysterical. That would be part of his apology to Sierra, like, "Hey, I'm so sorry about what I said, but you're the odd woman out," and there's your title drop. That'd
Yeah,
be
I forgot
sweet.
about that whole Deanne and Sierra thing. Like, there's so much going on because there's so many blue collars on that tribe that this will be a good episode. I actually do hope that blue tribe
So do
loses.
I. As
That would be great because the Shireen boot is just so predictable, and I'd love to see Shireen go, but seeing that blue tribe kind of have to figure out who's with who, all that could be really, really interesting.
and they're not as I don't want to say that they're not strategists over there, but they're not as strategic as the other tribe. Like I thought, like when they initially separated, I was like brains versus brawn, because the brawn was Joe, he's got a brain, Tyler has a brain, but Rodney and Joaquin seem like they're more brawn. Joaquin's starting to drift a little more towards the brain, but you know what I'm saying with that. Dan, he's not the strongest guy, but he would be on the brawn before he'd be on the brain.
Mike,
Yeah, Mike, Sierra, and then the brains, it was Haley, Max, Shireen, Jen. Like, nobody on that tribe was strong. Kelly would probably be on Braun, but whatever. And Will, he couldn't
Kelly's
be
smart
Braun.
though. Kelly's smart.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, it kind of felt like a brains versus brawn scene to me. And I want to see how these, like, non-strategists deal with a tribe swap like this.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have enough smart. I think Joe and Tyler are probably the two smartest people on that tribe. Sierra seems to have a pretty good head on her shoulders as well. But that's why I just fear Joaquin and Rodney just falling right to the bottom. I'll go with my 8 right now. I have Sierra at 8. I think we just touched on this. It could get turned around on her. She could be that odd woman out. At 9, I have Will, just because he's on this red tribe that has a really high chance of going to tribal council, and he's a liability. And like I said earlier when you were talking about Will, that he's just like this one dude on an island with chicks, and sometimes that just doesn't work out well. And that's a tough thing to deal with, especially when you're not strong in challenges and they can find a specific good reason. Look, let's get Will. He will lose us the next game. He is our weakest member. Because while we keep talking about how strong this blue tribe is, this red tribe doesn't have like totally weak people. I mean, Jen and Haley have proven to be pretty good at the challenges. Carolyn and Kelly they haven't really messed up. Shree messed up on a puzzle. We haven't really seen her fail physically.
The thing is with that tribe is, like, last week they got smoked, but they were going up against a bunch of, like, grown men who, like, lift. Like, they're not, like, they're weak. It wasn't like Cochran was on the other tribe. You know what I mean? Like, these were, like, grown, like, strong, we go to the gym men.
And that challenge was just
Terrible.
Completely physical. There was nothing mental, nothing even, like, tricky or hard at all. Like, it was just...
Yeah.
And we talked about the ending of that challenge. That was just silly. Those pots, and you just had to literally, you didn't even have to touch them. They would just blow over with the wind. On that, I'll roll on to number 10 here. At 10, I have Rodney. I almost had him lower. The only reason I have him this high is because I don't think they're going to tribal. But Rodney is in danger. I really think this could be the episode that Rodney goes home and we see the end of Rodney.
Yeah, I have Rodney. I actually have Rodney at 12. So I really think that this could be the end of Rodney too. I think that Rodney might have he's just rubbing too many people the wrong way. And even if him and Joaquin get close, they might just be like, well, forget it. Let's just get rid of Rodney. Like, let's just do it. Let's get him out. Like, I don't know. I could see Rodney definitely going. But my next one I have at 11 is Carolyn, and this one I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit. This one I fear for Carolyn this week strictly because Shireen is desperate. And Shireen can easily say, look, if she gets back, she was really tight with Joaquin, she was really tight with Tyler. I don't have any allies in this game. She screwed me over. I want her out more than anybody else in this game. I want Carolyn gone. And Carolyn might never see it coming and not play that idol, and this would be the perfect time. Even though I know Shireen doesn't know Carolyn has it, this could be the perfect time for them to get rid of Carolyn without her having any clue to play the idol.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking of something. It might be funny if Shireen really is, backs against the wall, she might just tell Jen and Haley, like, look, Carolyn's got the idol. I know she has it. And then if Jen and Haley go up to Carolyn and say, Shireen tells us you have the idol, like that, what does Carolyn do in that situation? Like, damn, she got caught, kind of.
Yeah.
I could see Shireen just making up a lie like that, even though it's the truth. That would be kind of funny to see. It will be cool if Shireen really, to see her play. If she claims to be this huge fan, not this strategist that says there's 3 white collar, 3 blue collar, or 3 no collar, 1 blue. I mean, just stop it. Stop, Shireen. At the same time, would love to see her go though. At 11, I have Kelly, and I'm just gonna rattle my list. I have Kelly at 11, Carolyn at 12, and Shireen at 13. Just because if that tribe, I really think that tribe loses. So then I'm positioning myself where if any of those kind of the older, weaker females go home, which is likely, I'll at least have them, in the bottom. So I'm really banking on that tribe losing, even though I'd rather see them win for my entertainment purposes. I have to play this game to win, to beat you, Phil.
Yeah, and you're gonna need all the help. I have Rodney at 12 and Shireen at 13. I mean, we've said so much about just why we think all these people belong where they are. But no, I agree with you on the Carolyn, Kelly, Shireen thing. If they go, none of them are Jen, Haley, and Will seem like they could be tied enough. I don't see Jen or Haley going. I mean, we both have them at 1 and 2. I have Will at 3. Like, I just think that the 3 of them could be tight enough where it's like, let's get back together with Joe and no collars can run this. And if Shireen targets anybody, I think it's going to be either Kelly or Carolyn. So
yeah, that's why I have them that low. I think it's going to be one of those 3 chicks with Shireen on the bottom. Obviously, she could be the odd woman out.
There you go.
About the scoring for this game, it seems that at some point, to be able to score points is going to be very difficult. Like when there are 5 people left, however you rank 5th is like if let's say they go out 5th, how you only get 5 points, and that's a pretty big boot. That's kind of I feel like at some point, maybe like once the merge hits, we should double the points because.
Oh, coming from the person who's losing, that's shocking.
Yeah, coming from the person who's losing. I've never done this power rankings game before, but it seems like
what normally happens
all the points are won for like the early boots, which is not even that fun. Like I got like 15 points for Lindsay. Like that doesn't seem fun. Like I'd rather call the person who goes home 6th than get 12 points for that. Is what I'm saying.
Well, it's also easier to pick once you get down. When there's only 6 left, it's normally easier to pick 1 and 6 than it is to pick 1 and 15. And
yeah,
plus,
that's true. But I just feel like they're more important boots.
Well, when you get to Final 5, though, I mean that's the final tribal, and then you just put them in the order you think they're going to finish. I would think.
Yeah, maybe, but even when there's 8 people left, the most let's say I'm like down 8 going in, and there's only 7 people. Like, how do you come? I feel like comebacks are rare in the power rankings game.
Well, don't do bad at the beginning.
Too late for that. I mean, I'm not doing that badly. I got Nina on the nose. I got Lindsay on the nose.
Max killed you.
Max really did hurt me, and it sucks. It sucks. I really, really wish it was Shireen.
Yeah, I hear.
For so many reasons. Just for entertainment, for my power rankings, for so many reasons. Okay, I'm gonna read the comments that we have on this video. There have been 2 so far. And if anyone listening right now wants to comment, ask a question, make a prediction, feel free to. We had one that said, "I hope Eddie Fox and Wu return." I would like to see Reynolds and Eddie make a return. I wouldn't mind that.
I don't know if I want to see Wu back. I don't feel like Wu was. I mean, Wu was a nice guy.
Wu did not do enough to.
He didn't do enough to me. Yeah. Wow.
Did you just try to make that joke?
No, I would never make that joke. I have pride and self-respect. I wouldn't do that.
You're jealous. You didn't come up with it yourself.
No shit, Shireen was good. Wu wasn't.
Okay. Well, the next comment is actually about no shit Shireen. Tara Stacy commented that Shireen can't go too soon. I need to be able to hashtag no shit Shireen for at least a couple more weeks. So there you go.
Well, that's good. I like that.
It's a good hashtag, but it's not something I want to use because every time I use it, I like just am so infuriated. I just can't deal with her.
I mean, infuriated's a strong word.
So is no shit. That's strong too. I mean, we're saying no shit Shireen. I mean, she's this bad. She is this bad. I hope she goes. It sucks though because she's the predictable boot. It sucks when the person you want to go is like the predictable one because then you're giving up. Would I rather a fun, enjoyable episode or keep this annoying person in? It's
Well,
like a
I'm gonna
tough.
be honest. When Nina went, it was still a fun, enjoyable episode.
It was. No, that
Yeah.
was. And the season has been, even with the Lindsay boot, it was still very, very fun and entertaining. But it will be tough next week because she's so far on the bottom of that tribe that everyone thinks she's annoying. No one likes her. The only reason to keep her around is just because she's just dead weight. She's a vote, and no one really likes her. She can't win in the end. I don't think anyone's really saying that yet, that she can't win. But she seems to be ticking a lot of people off.
Yeah, I agree. On Twitter, we had one little comment, and it was from Ravinja Sharma. He says, Will reminds me of Cochran from South Pacific, struggled physically, survived till the merge, and totally changed the game. You think Will can totally change the game?
Will could totally change the game. If he makes it far enough, he's likable, and with that whole vote splitting in their first tribal council when they voted out Vince, he seemed to be like really in tune with how the votes work. It wasn't like he was a Keith, where he's like, what's going on, the numbers, I don't know. He seemed like at first I was like he'll probably be like a Keith, he's a recruit. He doesn't
Funny
really know the game that well. Yeah, funny guy, likable, some good sound bites, got the sandwiches in there. But Will can definitely turn the game around. And from that very first thing when Joe was like, so we're going to split our votes 2-2-2, then we'll revote, we'll vote out Nina. His first confessional right after, I don't want to get Nina out, but if they're splitting their votes, I can get Nina and Vince. We'll have 3. That's a majority. Boom. He was on it right away. So he did impress me.
And I think it's good to compare him to Cochran from South Pacific because really, once Will got to the bottom, he might be able to get saved in time. He got saved in time by a tribe swap. Now he might be able to get saved in time by a merge. And yeah, I agree with you. I think he could definitely turn it on its head if he gets the right opportunity, if he gets the right numbers, because he still knows he's number 4 on that no-collar tribe. He still knows.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll totally flip on like that. Something weird's going to have to happen. I mean, we have 2 idols in hands. We have 1 idol hidden. We have this advantage coming up. I think there's a lot of things that are going to shake up that will allow Will to make moves or make a big decision. But just kind of out of the blue, simple flip, I don't know if Will do that against Joe, Haley, and Jen. I think he's like too loyal and too nice. It's going to take some finagling, or someone has to play him, really, really hard to get him to do that.
Yeah. No, I agree. I could see him getting rid of Joe before he got rid of Haley or Jen. I don't know why. I could just see him doing that.
Well, now, the tribe swap, he's, with... It seems like Haley, Jen, and Will do have a nice, alliance going on that tribe.
Yeah. I agree. You want to go to the ones from the last YouTube, the predictions of the fans, and our one very great comment that shows we're getting good at signs?
What's the good comment?
Well, on the last thing, Karen Lindstrom confirmed, exactly, if you don't want to breed chickens, you don't need a rooster. We're getting better at science. Will.
Oh, yes, science, right. Yeah, I messed up with the whole scorpion thing, but...
We're getting good, though.
We got
sense.
Right, yeah, we're good. But I guess I'll read through some of these comments here on YouTube. From Brian Johnson, I'm happy it was Max over Shireen, even though she is so annoying. Max was a player, and they took a bigger threat out. They were going to lose with Max or without him. Smart job from Carolyn and Jen. So I do hear what he's saying here. Max is the bigger threat, and the tribe is so depleted of strength anyway. You're not going to keep Max around for his, challenge prowess.
I'm going to be honest. I think they knew they were going to lose the next challenge anyway, and their whole plan was just, we'll get rid of Max now, we'll get rid of Shireen later. I really do think that might have been part of their plan because, like he said, Max is a bigger threat. So if he were to make the merge, they're probably more worried about him, so get rid of him first. But if we lose again, we have Shireen.
Yeah, in case they win the next challenge, then they have Shireen instead of Max who can, float along. Yeah. I hear that. I still think Shireen is more annoying, so when they kept saying it's based on who's more annoying, that's why I kind of found, why Max? Max is annoying, but is he more annoying than Shireen? It didn't seem like it. Okay. Another from Brian Johnson, double comment. It
was an MVP vote.
It was an MVP vote. Okay, we can talk about MVP. I mean, Jen ran away with it, which I didn't really think she would, but
No,
she
we
did.
thought Kelly was going to win.
Yeah, but I've read the comments now, and I still think Jen, she had a great episode. She found an idol, voted in the majority, survived the swap, survived tribal, didn't let the chicken thing really, hurt her, which oftentimes that whole situation does. So she did a lot of things right. And Kelly didn't have like that amazing of an episode. Like she got hit in the face and didn't complain. Like, yeah, that's cool. Not much else than that.
You're a traitor, man. Anything for the points. These are probably all your friends saying Jen deserved it.
No, the people have voted, man. I mean, on the last podcast, I told you I thought it was Kelly, and even if I voted Kelly right now and you voted Kelly, Jen is still, I think she's 5 or 4 votes ahead of Kelly. So, okay, so for Sam Helberg, it's hard to predict next week. If the blue tribe goes to tribal, it may not be as simple as Sierra as the swing vote, with the merge definitely coming soon. I think Tyler seems savvy enough to possibly try to use it as an opportunity to take out Joe before he can reunite with his former trimates. However, I don't foresee them going to tribal. See, I don't really agree with that one, because I think Tyler and Joe find themselves kind of a lot, allied by default.
They're aligned, yeah.
Aligned, exactly. They're aligned by default because you have the blue collars, and then you have Rodney and Joaquin supposedly making this duo, and the preview goes into that duo. This isn't like a quick flash in the pan thing, hey, we're buddies. It seems like they're really trying to make moves. So I think Tyler and Joe kind of just become...
They're the outcasts.
Yeah.
Yeah. As weird as it is to say that, Joe and Tyler are the outcasts of that tribe.
And not outcasts in like a bad way. I think they're the ones, like, Joe has no one from his tribe. Tyler only has Joaquin, and Joaquin seems to be gravitating towards Rodney. So just they're together. I think they're savvy enough to figure it out, but I don't think Tyler will target Joe.
Yeah.
And there's a second part. There's a second part of this prediction. Is Shireen annoying enough to take out a player who has literally no allegiance left in the game? Or will Haley Jen Will try to reel her in to take out Carolyn or Kelly, who they could definitely fear have pre-existing alliances with their former tribe? He goes on to say, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. Do you think they're going to use Shireen as a vote, or is she too annoying? Is she too annoying to even keep her around for like Malcolm's quote with Abby Maria? Malcolm was like, I'm literally going to make a poor strategic decision because of how annoying Abby Maria is. Is it like that?
Yeah, and I mean, we kind of talked about this already, where we could definitely see Shireen doing something where Carolyn or Kelly go, because we both had Carolyn and Kelly pretty low in our rankings. We both think Carolyn has a better chance to go, but yeah, I mean, I could see Shireen making some moves. Maybe she is actually a gamer, and that's why they've been showing some of these clips instead of just for us to make fun of her. I don't know. I'm curious to see it. I wouldn't be mad if she turned it around, but I wouldn't be mad if she went home either.
Yeah, I think she'll have something up her sleeve. I don't expect Shireen to go down without swinging at all. She's gonna stir something up, whether it works or not. Who knows? Even if it doesn't work, it'll be fun to see her go down in flames. But that's a good question. I mean, we'll find out. I think that he's basically asking what Haley, Jen, and Will do with her. It's hard to say. It's really hard to say. I mean, we're not living with Shireen. I don't know. That is a good question.
Yeah.
Rajesh Kuthrapali. Anyway, Rajesh, question for you guys. If you were to go on Survivor, which past player would you most model your game after? Thanks for the great podcast. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you, Rajesh, for that.
Way to read that compliment. I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I got to read the full comment,
I hear
make sure there wasn't a part 2 of the question. So Phil, who are you most like?
I have always said this, and I don't know if this is just me overestimating myself, but I always said that I would play similar to Rob Cesternino. I always said it, and I know that that's like everybody's like, you want to say that you would play like him.
Boo.
But no, listen, shut up, because it's going to be a mix. Like, I'm serious. I would want to play like him where...
Pick 3 players you get to mix.
3 players I could mix?
Yeah.
Probably Rob, Courtney, and JT. Can you do that?
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
I don't see any JT in you at all.
Well, I'm saying, well, he didn't ask who are you most like. He said who would you model your game after. And what I would do is I would do what Rob Cesternino did, where he was constantly flopping alliances. But JT was also doing that too because he had his one really close guy, and that would be my whole plan going into the game: is find somebody you can be really tight with, and then make everybody else think that you're still with them, kind of like what JT did. And then I just want to be annoying and lippy like Courtney because I think that's funny, and I think I could do that part. I think that's probably my best chance is the Courtney confessionals.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, confessional-wise, I would probably go more. I'd be more like Todd, like to the cameras, like in the confessionals. I didn't realize this. I just picked a winner there. Todd won, but he did give good confessionals. Any strategic, I would obviously play like a strategic numbers, like very. I would not really play based on emotions. On the outside, I would be like Fabio, another winner. But these people won, so it's okay to model your game after them. Yeah, Fabio was a nut. He was goofy. He did have some great confessionals. He's had one like the only thing to do right now, the smartest thing to do is just play dumb. Like he had one of those confessionals. I think his game is really underrated. I'm a huge Fabio fan, and if you know me outside of the podcast, I don't know if Phil can vouch. I'm like a very like goofy, silly person. Like I take Survivor very seriously, but I'm very like silly in a lot of ways. So I think like Fabio, people would think I don't know what's going on when in fact I do. And then for like a third person, I guess Carter from Philippines. And we didn't see much of Carter.
Oh, so you'd be boring. You'd be useless and boring.
Yeah, because he was just like there, and he didn't cause too many waves. And I think if he had just been a little more strategic, the reason he got voted out was because he was too kind of likable. So I would kind of use the Fabio, maybe a tad bit annoying, so I'm not too likable, but be likable enough like Carter and not be stirring waves and drawing too much attention like Carter.
Well, let me change my vote here real quick, just because, I mean, now I'm going to get a little, like, touching and heartfelt. Eric Reichenbach, when Eric was on season 16 the first time, I was, like, running in high school and shit, and, like, Eric Reichenbach was the first person I was actually like, holy God, like, I could be on this show, and that's what I would, like, do. Because Eric was a really nice, young, likable guy. And everybody forgets Eric played a great game until he gave up that immunity necklace. Eric was a great player, and then he did that, so everybody thought he was a buffoon. Eric did nothing wrong before that. He got Amy Cusick out of that game so well. So maybe I would be a little more like Eric, too, if I could still find that like little like 16, 17-year-old Phil in there. Because like I really did love his game, and like the naivete, whatever the hell the word is. Like it was there. And he was such a nice guy and so likable. Maybe I'd be more like him than JT because he did get everybody to like him. So forget JT. I'm not Southern.
Yeah, I don't even think. Yeah, I mean, JT is like unworldly likability where everyone just wanted to give him $1 million. It was so weird. It was crazy. Yeah, I hear you. And Eric, and he came back in Karamoa and he got 5th place. I know he got medevac and there was some weird stuff with that. But he definitely he got 5th place back to back.
Both times. The thing is, In Karamoan, we didn't get enough of an Eric edit because he was getting medevac. Like, I don't know. Could Eric have won that game? That is one of my biggest questions. And, like, I would love to ask Eric that question.
He's very well liked.
I really would love to ask Eric that question because I could see him beating Cochran at the end just because he was more likable than Cochran. Cochran was backstabbing. Eric was not. Eric was a nice guy, but he always had his finger on the pulse of the game. He just never got the credit he deserved because of his freaking immunity necklace give up. Like, why did you do that? He could have went down as one of the best players. I really believe that.
Yeah, honestly, in Micronesia, if he keeps that immunity, then he's just like with kind of 3 women, and he's a pretty big challenge threat. You could see him just riding immunity to the end, and then he's a likable guy. I mean, people would definitely give him $1 million. So yeah, I like your picks there. Let's talk. We'll get back to some more predictions. Next up, this is from Colin McDonald. Next episode, Shireen is gone. She annoys everyone. I don't think the Jen, Haley, Will trio will see Kelly and Carolyn as such big threats that they need to vote them off over Shireen. So he kind of is answering Sam's question. Is Shireen annoying enough? She's saying she is annoying enough, and he's saying that Carolyn and Kelly just aren't big enough threats. And they on the off chance that the Red Tribe does lose, I don't think Rodney and Joaquin are in much trouble, as the promo tries to show us. think that Mike Dan are just saying that to Sierra, and will probably take her out because come the merge, Rodney and Joaquin will be the biggest threats, while Sierra is someone that probably could lay low and skate through. I don't know about that tribe. I just don't know. That very well could be the case where like we got to get Sierra out now because if we don't get her out now, no one's gonna get together and vote her off post merge.
Yeah, I agree.
It's weird. You have like these threats who become threats because they're non-threats.
I don't know what else to say about that because it's just so bizarre. Because it's like the whole Susie Smith thing, where Susie Smith almost won that game because she did nothing. I mean, I know you say she did stuff early, but like really, Susie got way under edited.
No, she had that like she had that one flip after the second tribe swap in this random season. She voted Marcus out, and that was it. I'm surprised that she got 3 votes in that tribal.
Yeah.
But also Bob supposedly was like a bit of a perv, and people didn't want to give him the money. So I think that was a tough one. I think I was rooting for Kenny to win or Maddie to win. Bob's, he did some, he made the best fake idol in history. So at least he's got that. And he's oldest winner ever. So I was okay with that.
But speaking of Marcus, dude, you want to go to Timothy Smith's rant prediction about Max, how it was right, and then he mentions Marcus in his little question thing.
Oh, perfect. Do you want to read it? Do you have these up, or do you want me to keep reading them?
No, I have them up. I got them on YouTube right now. I'm looking at it.
Okay, good. Because I've always read the YouTube ones. I don't know why you've read the tweets, but yeah, go for it.
So Timothy Smith said, well, my rant prediction about Max was right. There you go. Here's another prediction question. We'd like your opinion. But his Max thing was spot on, how he was going to get booted by like people who didn't know the game as well as he did. Pre-merge, like it was set up perfectly. Like he was right. Yeah. He didn't like Max.
Yeah, kudos to Timothy Smith.
So his prediction / question is, I think Tyler is getting that illustrious merge boot first juror spot. Marcus in 17, Brendan in 18, JT in 20, Sarah 28, Lex in 8, Ozzy in 16, Eric Cardona in 19, and Jeff Varner in Australia. Not a jury member, but big player gone at merge. Are some I can think of right now. They all had strategy, strength, social skills, and plenty of airtime. It's all in the edit, and sadly I predict Tyler will be the first juror. What do you guys think? I've missed 5 seasons in the last 5 years, so sorry if I missed any more big merge boot names. Josh, I know that Julie wanted the merge. Julie wanted the merge technically, but Josh was a huge one where I thought Josh or Jeremy was winning that game 100%. When Josh went, I was shocked. And when Jeremy went right after that, I was even more shocked. Those were 2 great boots back-to-back from San Juan del Sur. The rest of the season was horrible. But, yeah, Josh was a huge one right there.
I guess Sarah was the merge boot in
Yep, he put Sarah.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be Tyler. It could be Joe. Does the merge boot always need to be like this big boot?
It just normal. I think the thing that they're saying here is it just normally is. Like at least like
it is because of just how things shake out, where you have people fighting to make alliances. Because after the merge, it's like everyone's at least voted once, and you know kind of where people stand. So people do.
I think this is because it's leader versus leader. Like it's this guy versus this guy. Who will it be? He brought up Jeff Varner in the first season, or in Australia, I'm sorry.
Australia.
Yeah, and that was huge because that meant Kucha was done. Like, that was back then. Gretchen was another one in Borneo. That meant they were done. Like, and they always got screen time. They really did. The merge boots normally pretty well edited. I'm trying to think like through the seasons here. But normally they're pretty well edited. I'm thinking Guatemala, that Brandon, he was like a fan. He was like really well liked by the fans, and everybody just forgot him because he was in like a forgettable season, although we like it, and he was the merge boot.
Yeah. And also with Tyler, he's the last person in the. Wait, no. Is he the first? No, he's the first person in the song, in the intro video, and supposedly
I only watched it once.
The first person in the intro has never won, or the last person.
Ah.
And I think the first person is Tyler, and the last person is Haley. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Oh, Haley's still gonna win though.
So I mean, those are 2. If we're using that as like, okay, that's definitely been true 29 times. If we're gonna use that, then Tyler very well could be the merge boot.
But so could Jen.
Jen could too. The thing is, this season has a lot of smart, interesting players who are physical, strategic, and social. We have Jen, Tyler.
Well, what I want to say here is on this season, there's no Jeffra, and I mean Jeffra was fine. She didn't bother me, but there's no Jeffra where it's like, oh, she can't win, but when she goes, it's not going to mean anything. Like there's no people who are just getting by. After last episode, Kelly and Sierra got so much airtime that made up for everything. There's no invisible boot right now, so anybody could be the merge boot on this season. There's nobody that anybody could win this season. Anybody could be the merge boot. Like that's the way I'm looking at this right now. Anybody could go final 3, not win. Anybody could be the merge boot.
Yeah, the more I think about this, and because Timothy already got the max prediction right, I mean, when it comes merge episode, I might have to put Tyler down there just to watch out for this. So it's a good prediction. It could easily happen. We'll find out in a couple of weeks here. Okay, so Julio Lowe, my prediction for next episode is that the Red Tribe will go to Tribal again. Blue Tribe is brutally strong, and I doubt we'll see them lose, but I can't write off Red Tribe after the swap in Survivor Fiji. If Red Tribe loses, I think it'll be Shirin voted out, unless a big mix-up takes place.
We just got a Fiji reference.
Yeah. But we tend to agree with this, right? Like something needs to happen that's pretty crazy for Shirin to go home. Not like crazy, but everything's pointing to her right now. Yeah. Okay, Son of Nuo.
You want to do it? I didn't read good last time.
Oh, go for it. I just totally.
I'll give you a break, man. This one's kind of long too. I don't want you to have to read them all.
You read well, Phil. It's not good.
Come on, man. Okay, well, I guess the English thing is better than the science thing. You can cut us some slack.
I'm better at English than I am science, for sure.
Well, so am I, but I guess not that gooder. Prediction for next episode. This one is like really in depth, dude. This one was a lot. There's a challenge a la Heroes vs. Villains where players compete for individual immunity within their tribe, and then the winners compete for team immunity. Joe wins for the Blue Tribe. Haley wins for the Red Tribe. Joe beats Haley in the showdown for reward. At the Blue Tribal, Joaquin is voted out 4-3 when Joe sides with Mike even after Sierra flips, and at the Red Tribal, Shirin is voted out for being annoying. That's a lot, man. That is like a crazy prediction. I don't see that happening because they already did a double boot. I don't think another double boot's coming.
That was not a double boot last week. People keep saying double boot. No, a double boot is when it's 2 people in one episode. That was a double episode last week.
I know it was a double episode, but what I'm saying is normally they put a double boot in when they don't have a double episode. Now they've had a double episode. They don't need to put a double boot in somewhere down the line. I think they replaced the double boot with a double episode. I think that's what they did. So there were 2 boots last week. It was a double boot. Yes, it was 2 hours, but I don't think they need to have another episode for the rest of the season where 2 people go home.
Yeah, and when's the last time we've had this double boot?
I don't know, but that's like, you mean like that thing? I think it was Heroes vs. Villains. That was a crazy prediction. That's a lot of thought into that prediction. I mean,
I think right now, as it lays, I don't see the point of them getting rid of 2 people. It's not like they need to hurry into.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And they have these challenges planned out ahead of time. Even when the tribe swaps are uneven, they know when they're merging before they swap. Like, they're not going to change the game based on like a. I mean, it'd be cool to see. I guess I'm usually not a fan of those. I hate it when it's like both tribes are going no matter what. It takes away a lot of the game where it's like you should have a chance to save yourself. And I know there's 1 immunity on each tribe, but it's like don't send. It's like when Willard went home. It's like. Why did they even need to go to tribal? They never lost a challenge. Like
well, that who was I just thinking of? Well, I mean, in Heroes vs. Villains, it was James who ended up going home, and who knows? Heroes could have ended up winning that. So I don't like to see. I agree with you. I tend to agree with you. I don't like to see where they're both going to go. I'd rather them do a double episode instead of a double boot like they did last week. God forbid I call it a double boot. That makes me a bad person. But
I'm not saying it makes you bad. There's a difference, though. A double boot is.
I agree with you. There's a difference, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I was just clarifying that for people who were, maybe would get on us, or if they didn't know the distinction. We're trying to be informative here.
That's all our predictions, though.
We have one more.
Oh yeah.
From Jake the Snake.
Will lose and Shirin will go home from Jake the Snake.
Yeah.
Everybody's really on the Shirin going home bandwagon.
It's the easy pick. It might be the right pick. You got anything else, Phil?
No. Hopefully Wednesday's episode is good.
Yeah,
Hopefully
me
it keeps
too.
up.
I really hope that that the Blue Tribe somehow loses. That would be great. It'd be great to see. This Rodney Joaquin thing could be really fun too, though I do think it might push both of them to the bottom
Yeah.
of that tribe. Okay, thanks for watching. Be sure to comment questions or predictions on our recap when we do our recap episodes. We can talk about them next week.